In a world of cars and other roads and stuff, like the real world. These synchronized drives. Oh god! Oh! What the hell? Check this out. Oh god, why? I just killed that family of 4 back there. That was pretty funny. I'm a semi-truck driver. I gotta make this delivery to Pepsi. What the fuck? Oh boy, I can't wait to get to work today. Oh no! What's that? Fuck that guy. I just love killing people. What the fuck was that? I don't understand anything. What are you doing? Stop! I'll never stop. I feel the octane and gasoline. This is Carmageddon 2, Carpocalypse Now. A game that my dad used to play on the computer. Why am I playing it? Honestly, I just wanted to experience it. And also, it was extremely cheap on the Steam store. I'm Eire with Saturn's Edge, and as you can tell by my shitty improv, this is gonna be an episode where this is gonna be a video in general where I have to wonder why. Carmageddon 2 is as simple as this. It's a car racing game, but it's like, it has the dumbest humor like this. Like, look at this. I can't even say the hard difficulty, but you can read that. Whenever I was recording this actually made me laugh, and I feel bad. Basically, you crash cars or you race cars. The whole point is to cause as much bloodshed as humanly possible in terrible graphics. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but frankly, that's what we're here for. I will admit, though, I literally didn't know how to go. Because this game, instead of using WAS and D for the basic controls, it really said the words, let's use the keypad. 8, 2, 4, and 6. Because naturally, those are the keys I always press if I want to go somewhere. The controls already got me to laugh a little bit because they didn't make a whole lot of sense. And I tried setting them to WAS and D, but it wouldn't let me. So I just turned brake reverse 2. I turned that into 5. Just to make it a bit easier to work with. I'll admit, when it came to this game, I didn't know what I was getting into at all. I kind of knew what the Carmageddon franchise was like, but at the same time, I have no idea what the hell's actually happening. Like, this is incredibly hard to control. I didn't understand any of the systems, like credits, or repairing, or, like, really anything. All I knew is that, like, you could crash into people, you could race cars, you could do other things. I wasn't really sure, much after that. It kind of got lost on me after a little bit. Anyway, my dad used to play this game, and he would he would use all the cheat codes and stuff because he believes that's, like, the real way, like, the interesting way to play this game. The way that I'm playing it, however, is the, vanilla way, the very basic way. If it was a flavor of ice cream, I mean, it's not just vanilla, it's just milk-flavored. That's basically what I'm playing right now. And I have no idea what I'm doing. And honestly, this game overall, at first here, this first section where I'm, like, still learning everything, this didn't appeal to me at all. I didn't understand any of this. All I knew is that stuff happens, and that's it. That's a whole lot of everything, you know? my commentary on this is gonna be very, like, kind of dry and in the moment, because, to be honest, I just don't got a lot of, clues as to what's happening, really. And I recorded this video, like, a long time back. I don't really have any interesting stories, I don't really have anything, like, cool to say. I'm not really a car guy, so don't expect, like, car commentary or some, like, random thing like that. Point is, when I started playing this and trying it out, I was very bad at this. Genuinely, I was easily the worst at this. I had no idea what I was doing. And then, you know, after a second of, like, taking some time, like, going back to the menu, coming back in, like this, right here, I was kind of like, I don't know what to do. So I tried it again. Why not? I just did it one more time. Also, actually no, I do have an interesting story about this, about recording this game. This is an older computer game. Recording this game was honestly one of the hardest things I've done for recording on this channel. Easily. Recording a speed paint software, recording my Clip Studio Paint, easy. Even if it's on a second screen. Gameplay, easy. Recording videos, recording audio, also easy. Easy. The content warning bit where I actually, like, took a laundry basket and some shoes and, like, slapped them on the ground and shuffled them around in the mic, easy. This was hard. Not only could I not open OBS correctly when I was trying to record this game, while the game was open, I had to set it up so it would record the screen that I'm on, so, like, monitor 1, for example, okay? Instead of the actual software, which is kind of stupid to me. That's a little insane. I don't really mess with that often. Not a big fan. I prefer recording the actual software, as I don't really risk anything. Now, the other parts of recording this game that made it a bit difficult was the size, the proportions. I had to resize the exact screen. Like, whenever I was in OBS, it was actually like a tiny box in the top left. So I had to, like, zoom it out correctly, and then set it back to normal afterward whenever I was recording anything else, because it was too big. Yeah, older software like this, and especially especially this game, were really not meant to be recorded on modern-day software like OBS. Not without a little bit of an issue first. I'm glad that I got it to work after a while and everything turned out okay. So, like, you know, that's something to be happy about. That really is. Other than that, though, there wasn't really much I was thinking of. There really wasn't. For the most part, it was a lot of struggle. Especially while, you know, controlling and recording and making sure everything was getting recorded instead of just, praying that it got recorded. This is also a weird game for me to play on my channel in general, because I would normally never play a game like this. An older computer game that's a racing thing with a ton of gore in it? That's weird. I don't really like bloody games in general. Like, I just don't like gore, or like a lot of things like that. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm opposed to it or anything, especially in games, but like, I didn't know how I'd fare against like gore or like the cartoony gore that's in this. Compared to like something like, you know, something more, I don't know how to describe it. I like casual, cartoony, goofy games, but, like, gore and blood is kind of where I draw the line, because I'm, like, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit of I have a little bit of, like, a fear of blood, just a little bit of intolerance to blood. It's kind of just a small thing I gotta get over. Especially considering that blood is, like, kind of a normal thing, and I got wasted. I have to play this level again. Luckily now, you know, by this point in time, I was actually starting to understand the controls a bit more, and really starting to just, like, kind of double down on everything and really figure out, like, hey, how does this work? What do I do? Genuinely, at first, I did not like this game. It didn't seem fun. I didn't know why it was appealing. I really didn't understand it. But then, like, after a little bit, right? After I played this match, and the next one, and the next one, I really got to understand it and actually enjoy it. Like, it grew on me. It grew, like the Despicable Me guy. You could tell I'm not all there today. Overall, I'm gonna say that a lot, aren't I? I probably have already. I really loved, like, just playing the game in such a dumb way where it's like, oh yeah, occasionally I hit someone, but, like, the part that really got me about this game was, like, getting enough speed built up to eventually, like, hit someone and then throw them into a wall. That was, like, probably the most fun, like, I had in this game. I did not feel good about hitting, like, dogs. No, I am not a fan of that. I don't know how I wasted that guy. That's a good question. I don't know who that was. Yeah, the pink car. I don't know how the hell that happened at all. But yeah, like, over time this grew on me. And, yeah, it kind of worked. I'll admit, though, the token system, the credit system that carries over between things, and, like, all this other stuff is, like, kind of interesting, but, I don't know, it didn't appeal to me as much as I think it would. One thing I loved, though, see that bottom bar there, right? It says opponent, like, it says their name, the condition of the car, and then it says their status. I think the status was honestly one of the funniest things this game had to offer. Because, like, it goes from, like, oh yeah, trying to kill you to unconscious, and, like, there's some stupid things I just love about that. It's such a, like, small, unique little thing. I think more games need to have, like, kind of a, like, especially in, like, in games like this, it makes sense to have it, because it's kind of dumb, and also it kind of gives you an idea as, like, to how that person is, like, operating, or how the AI is operating. I would love it if in games, like, online or not, there was a status thing like that, where I could just kind of do whatever with that, you know? Like, it didn't really matter, it meant nothing, it's just kind of a cool little detail, right? And I like that, you know, with more pedestrian kills and more car crashes, the timer actually goes up. I think that's a smart way to do, like, a payoff sort of situation, meaning that at the start of the game, you really need to focus on, like, crashing into someone or taking out a horde of people. I like that. And I like that you actively see it go up and down instead of, like, you know, immediately just disappearing or not. I like the small explosion, though you wasted them going across the screen. The map is actually surprisingly detailed. I think for an early game, like an early computer game, I should say, I gotta say, this is a really solid pick. Like, this is a really solid game to play. Would I recommend this to someone to play through the entirety of? Honestly, no. I would 100% prefer to, like, suggest this game as, like, a one-time thing every once in a while, rather than a game that, like, you would play the entire way through. I would rather, like, show this game off to friends kind of as, like, a joke game, rather than, like, anything else. Mainly because of just, like, the gameplay itself being a little bit slow, especially for a game that's kind of focused on racing cars and crashing cars and destruction. It's really hard to control the starting car. That's, like, one major problem I have. And it's really hard to unlock other cars unless you actually had, like, a lot of credits. You basically have to grind for credits and, like, balance your system of repairs and restarts and a ton of other things. I like the System 4 credits and how it carries over. I just don't like how many you have to actually get in order to get one car that's way better than this actual piece of junk. But no, seriously, this car sucks. You could tell I have a really hard time turning the car, and I thought it was just the entire gameplay of the game, but I was later told by my dad on a phone call when I was talking about this game with him, about, like, what it was like when he played it. He said that, like, he hated this car and would rather pick any other car in the game, because this one actually had, like, some of the worst turning possible. And that's something, like, I kinda hate, is like, man, you're really trying to appeal to me with this game, right? The game itself tries to appeal to me by showing itself off as, like, being really cool and fast-paced and action-based and all this stuff, right? But then immediately give you, like, the worst car possible in the game to play as, or to play with, in terms of crashing other cars or turning in general. Also, this is kind of a thing, like, I noticed that there was a little bit of a bug here when it came to the cars in the description of them. Like, the Piranha has the same thing as the Bugga, the same descriptions, which was really weird to me. I did not like that, because I didn't really know what the point of them was. Overall, though, I think the car design in this game is actually really interesting and cool. The characters, they're kind of basic from a profile standpoint. I don't really care for them much. But then again, you're not exactly playing this game for, like, character development. You're playing it to crash cars and kill people. I will say, yeah, this game does get more interesting whenever you're crashing into people or other cars and, like, really forcing them to just die or explode or whatever. Yeah, like, see, there, I didn't understand that. I did not even go, like, full speed or anything. I just immediately died and my car got cut in half. I didn't know how the hell that happened. So I just went in again and I was just like, screw it, we're doing it. It's also really hard to waste cars at certain angles. Like, you can't really, like, do too much. Like, here I literally just had to do this. Like, that helped crash the car, but then I was like, oh wait, I'm behind this one, boom, you know? It's really hard to waste the car sometimes, from specific angles, and you'll see it a lot more later as I'm trying to, like, waste this one car, but it just will not die. I kinda don't like the fact that you can just hit dogs and they actually have a proper sound effect for it. It's really sad. When it comes to the people, though, I get that's the whole point of the game, and I don't really mind it as much, but still killing people is like, you know, it's a moral thing or whatever. Or whatever. Like, I say that like it's nothing. Like, oh yeah, you know, killing someone, I might be able to do that. I don't know. No. But, you know, it's a little bit awkward for a racing game. And this game kind of wasn't meant to be a racing game, I'll be honest. Because I did play this match as a race. Just with some slight differences, like just occasionally crashing into someone or something. But I played this match as a race, and I gotta admit, it was really boring. The game kind of, pushes you extremely into killing people. And, like, that's nice and all, but, like, what if I just want to race? Then again, I wouldn't even be playing this game if I wanted to race. You know? I guess it goes both ways. To me, personally, if I play a racing game, I'm not expecting to hit someone. You know? Like, I'm not expecting to hit a person or a dog. But I wouldn't mind crashing other people's cars. Like, I think that's the big difference here. And especially whenever you're trying to race in this game, especially with the amount of turns that there actually are in this, and with the fact that you start out with, like, literally the worst car for turning, it really doesn't help make its case as, like, a racing game, and really enforces the idea of, like, oh yeah, you should crash into that guy. I like that it doubles down like that, but I don't like the fact that I can't play it straight, in a way. I actually do like the models of the cars slowly changing as you crash into them more and more. I think that's something that's neat. That actually made me laugh. Checkpoint! As I'm getting, like, you know, thrown across the map. Overall, I said it again. Put it on the counter, take a shot. As a game, I don't mind it. I actually really enjoyed it whenever I was starting to actually, like, really get into it. But the flaws were kind of apparent to me, and I couldn't truly enjoy this game to its fullest. And I'm okay with that. I was pretty much only going to play this as, like, a one-time thing anyway, so I don't mind as much. And I know I'm, like, hard on the game as, like, a critique. But then again, I'll admit, I had fun with it, you know? It's a game I actually enjoyed. Especially for playing for a first time. And, you know, the other part that got me was, like, my dad played this game, you know? There's an emotional connection there that, like, my dad actually really enjoyed this game, even if it was, like, oh, he played, like, all the cheat codes and just messed around like it was a sandbox, which is kind of what the game is supposed to be and where it gets interesting, rather than just plain boring racing. There's, like, an emotional tie there that, like, I actually really like, because my dad isn't really, like, someone I would call, I wouldn't call him, like, a big-time, like, serious gamer. I'd call him, like, a casual gamer, kind of like how I am. But, I mean, it's kind of nice seeing that, like, we kind of have some sort of slight connection where, like, yeah, he did play games and enjoy them, especially these old computer games like this that are something that I've never experienced before, especially something like this. I mean, obviously, I would not experience this if I were, like, you know, a child, but, like, even as a teenager, I never got to experience, you know, this game, or games like this, or a computer game that is old like this. I just never had any of those opportunities. Now, I say computer game a lot because that's what he played it on, but I think this game was also made for the PlayStation 2? I can't quite exactly remember the details there. But for the most part, that's what he played it on, and that's what I'll refer to it as a computer game, because it's just a lot easier. Like, it would really suck if, like, every 5 seconds I went, Carmageddon 2 on the PlayStation 2, you know? Like, imagine if I did that every time for Persona 3 Reload, like, this is Persona 3 Reload, released on Steam, Xbox, whatever the new consoles for Xbox, I really don't know, or, like, PlayStation 5, you know, like, I actually don't know what the new console is for Xbox, I don't know, it's just kind of forgettable, I guess, I don't know. Is it 1X? I don't know. It's Series, they all got the same name, it's really hard. Let's see. Point is when it comes to this game, I'll refer to it as a computer game because it's a lot easier for me to refer to it as such. One thing I forgot to mention, I guess about this game that I actually really like, is the top right there. You've seen it flash a couple times every once in a while, especially when I've gotten damaged or something. I love that it tells you what parts of the car are actually damaged. And I love the fact that, you know, to repair, you use credits in order to repair, and it fixes up your car and keeps you in the race longer, which is really nice. But with the top right where it blinks, it actually shows you, like, where the big problems are and where it's affecting you the most. I love something like that. It's such a nice little detail to include that, like, they didn't really have to do that, you know? It could have been all visual changes, like on the model of the car, but instead they actually give you, like, a proper, like, indicator. Hey, like, your wheel and tire and engine are pretty messed up, you should fix those, you know? I like little details like that just get included when they really didn't have to show up. Like, it could have just been a text box that says, like, oh yeah, your front right tire is damaged, you should fix that. That's a problem. Like, they could have just done that, but no. They went the full mile, they gave us a proper indicator of, like, every part, like, on the base part of the car. Another thing I really enjoy about this game the tracks feel kind of solid, even if they are a little bit boring, you know? They aren't confusing, it's just like, they're kind of basic, and that's kind of enjoyable. Another thing I like, right? You can't buy cars if you didn't waste them. That's a good idea for gameplay. Like, game balance, I should say. If you're grinding points and you want a car, you have to destroy the car. I love that idea. Because then it's like, it makes more sense. Also, the car designs just get funnier and funnier every time I play. Because look at this guillotine car, this like forklift. I think it's stupid, but man, it's funny. It's like a stupid level of funny I enjoy. Just, it's the things like that that make you really enjoy, like, the humor of the game. It's like, oh yeah, here's a guillotine forklift. This is like Mad Max or something, except we're even dumber than Mad Max, like, came up with any design for anything ever. I actually really love Mad Max, and it's kind of why I enjoy this game, because it's like, it's got, like, the destructive, like, ideals of Mad Max, but none of the wasteland, and like that, I like that. I like it. It's a good like, it's a good concept, I should say. Although I'll admit, I like Mad Max Fury Road a lot more than I do like this game. But I can't really compare the two because one's a movie and the other is it's a video game from like what, like the 2000s. Like the early 2000s, late 90s, like around that area. Like, I can't really compare the two in that regard. That's a bit mean. What was I trying to do here? Oh yeah, that's right, I was trying to drive. That's right, I was trying to drive in the driving game. Of course, that's what I was gonna do. Oh, harumph. I'm trying to drive here. I critique what I say a lot, like, I just joke about it, because it's like, man, I could not come up with words to save my life at all. I suck at words. I'll admit, like, when I was talking about, like, the map design and stuff, I really like it, even if it is kind of basic, and I didn't really get lost at all because of the maps. Like, the actual mini-map, or, like, the main map, or whatever. This is the map where I got lost, and it kind of, like, got boring to me a little bit because I was like just trying to hunt for people to kill rather than like actually race. Like, I know, right? Like, it's stupid. But I wanted to keep my time limit up, and I wanted to crash some cars at this moment rather than race because I learned how boring racing was. So, you know, it happens. And, like, wrong checkpoint, like, I understand that, but that really bugged me. Is like, man, did I actually miss a checkpoint? That sucks. But yeah, like, this game, like, started waning off on me, or wearing off. I don't know if waning's the right word to use. But it did start wearing off on me, and, like, it kind of sucks to think that way, because I was actually, like, starting to really enjoy it. And I know that I'm doing my commentary afterward, and it's, like, really hitting to me, like, how this wasn't as enjoyable as I thought it would be. But at the same time, I'm, like, I'm there, you know? I still liked this game enough to play it a bit longer than I was actually intending. Crash that car, crash that car. Come on, we're almost there. Yeah, there we go. See, that's better. I like that. I actually liked that crash more than any other crash I've done so far in the game. And then I see this car, and it's just like, man, we gotta damage him. We gotta destroy him. How can we do it? Oh, there's the guillotine forklift. I wonder if I could destroy him. Yep, he's dead, and we never got to see him actually die. I don't know. I don't have a lot of commentary for this game, because, like, most of what you're seeing is, like, exactly what the game is. It's really hard to control car for the beginning part, it's grinding out credits, it's crashing cars, it's killing people. It's occasionally racing if I actually feel like it. It's like, there's not much to really describe here. It's a car game. I don't understand, actually, how a lot of people enjoy, like, driving simulators or racing simulators or those, like, semi-truck ones with the really immersive, like, setups they have. I don't exactly understand the appeal, like, on most of those games. To me, like, a racing game should feel like, I don't know, Mario Kart or something. Mario Kart to me is just, like, a lot cooler and a lot more, like, entertaining than, like, a driving simulator. I don't really, just, if anyone knows this title for the Wii, Hot Wheels Track Attack, that was a great one. That's a great racing game. Or if you really want to, like, make me suffer, mention M&M Kart Racing or something. I've never owned the game once, but mention that, like, I mean, that'd make me mad, you know? What's another, like, good racing game I can think of that, like, I don't know. I haven't played this one yet, and I plan to, especially with Dan, but Garfield Kart is definitely a racing game I am 100% willing to try. He got it for me as a joke, and I'm willing to play it, and I'll show it off sometime on the channel soon, because it'd be funny. But yeah, no, this is where it started wearing off, because it was really boring. I couldn't really kill anyone until there, and then it was like, man, I gotta find 2 more people. This is gonna take forever. And then I find the guy behind me, and guess what? Like, I can't kill him. I couldn't kill him. Not for a while, anyway. It was really difficult to do that. I just don't know exactly why. I think I was just stupid in this moment. Yeah, I don't think it really clicked for me that, like, I just got to destroy him. I don't know. Or maybe I just sucked at controlling the car. Either way, yeah. Oh yeah, that... I thought that was kind of funny. There we go, head-on bonus. I like the head-on collision. It was kind of nice. I think at some point maybe I'll play the other Carmageddon game, the one that's a bit newer. I forgot what it was called. But mainly just to show the difference between the 2 games and play something maybe a bit faster or a bit more chaotic than just this. But I'll admit, for the time, this was a really interesting game. It's a really chaotic game compared to what most other computer games were bringing to the table. I think that this game isn't, like, innovative or new, especially because it's, you know, the second one in the series. But I do find it interesting enough to actually warrant its own video, especially because of the personal history behind it, with my dad playing this game, with my, like, understanding of these, like, well, lack of understanding of these old games. I should say that. And honestly, just a genuine sense of curiosity, because maybe there's someone out there who hasn't experienced this game at all, right? They don't know what this is. I'd like to be able to show this off a little bit, because I think, I don't know, this game has a little bit of a potential to, I mean, to spark some curiosity in people, you know? It definitely did it for me, so why not anyone else? That car is on 6%. That car is going to die soon. Like, that guy's dead. Man. Alright, I still have to pad out time for another 5 minutes, and it's just taking a while. I'm sorry. Well, I'm trying to think of what it is about this game that, like, really works for me. Because, like, me personally, I would never really be interested in this game, but in this moment, you know, in the moments where I was, like, playing it, I was actually really kind of enjoying it and, like, taking my time with it. I think it's because I wanted to, like, I wanted to understand, I guess, what my dad was playing, or, like, what he experienced, and the curiosity of old computer games like this. I can't guarantee I'm going to play an old computer game every now and then, because I think that just seems impossible in my opinion. I can't really just pull something out of thin air, even though I've been doing that, like, a lot, recently. Other than, like, Persona. That's the only one that I just keep around all the time. But I think, like, sometimes we just need something new, and this was, like, the fresh taste. Like, it was a breath of fresh air for me to play. I actually played this before I started my new batch of Persona episodes, because I wanted to play something different. I wanted to break from YouTube, but I would still record this. And I felt like this game it managed to hit every spot for me in terms of being, like, new to me. You know, new or interesting in some way. To really just, like, take me back out of my own, like, RPG mindset, to, like, put me into something a bit different. Something that, like, I can, play for a bit and just take my mind off things. I think this game did it. I think this is, like, actually no, it was a good game for me to play as kind of like a refresher. Overall, I said it again, take a shot. I'm joking, please don't. I think just, there's not much else to say on this game for the next 3 minutes. I'll still, like, talk for now, you know, just to finish up the timing on things, but overall, damn it. Okay, that was funny. Also, it was at this moment I kind of realized that this map is the same as the first map, but now it's nighttime and there's a different race course. Like, I just realized this now. I think I'm stupid. Like, I think I'm incredibly dumb for this. I saw that guy driving up, and I was just like, nah, I should just hide out for a second and let it happen. I thought it'd be a funny thing to do, kind of like a cartoon. I don't know how I wasted him. He crashed himself. That's on him. And then trying to hunt this last guy down, it took a while. But no, I did just realize that this map is just the first map, but with a different race course on it, like a pathway. I think that's, it's interesting utilage, I'll give it that. It kind of gives it more of a bigger sandboxy feel. And then just trying to kill this guy. Please die. I want it to end, please. I want it to be over with. And then just getting thrown off into the water at full speed. Please die. We're almost there, man. And just watch this. It's like the slowest way to die possible. There. Perfect. Gone. No more. I gotta say, while I was recording it, it's a good refresher game. It's a game that I've come to understand why my dad likes it so much. Well, especially back then. And why it was interesting, especially as a game. It's a pretty cool game, I'll give it that. Carmageddon 2, you've earned my respect. Anyway, I've been Eire, with Saturn's Edge. I hope you enjoyed the, different video this time around. And, I'll see you all in the next one, okay? Be sure to like and subscribe, and, I'll be peacing out now. Bye.